is our 8th day in Ghana so far. What have you made of it so far?
I think it's incredible. I think the experience of bringing a group of Africans from the diaspora and from Europe in particular, London, has been one of the most significant experiences that I have ever had. It's been very challenging because we are looking at a group of people who, for many of them, it's the first time outside of the country, outside of London. And for those who it's not the first time outside of London, it's the first time on the African continent, really interacting with the the continental African. So there have been a lot of dynamics which have come into play as a result of that. A lot of learning about oneself, but also learning about the differences and the similarities between the continental African and the diasporan African. So it's been very, very interesting.
What would you say the highlights were for you as the organizer?
There have been so many. There have been so very many. I think the highlights, plural, are the learning opportunities, because what has been happening is that we have met a number of challenges, a number of what one would call obstacles. Only we consider them to be challenges because they only become obstacles or barriers if you allow them to stop you. So what we have seen them as is learning opportunities. On our arrival here in Ghana, we had some unfortunate circumstances. We had missing luggage, damaged luggage, fatigue, disorientation, a number of things, which could have resulted in the first impression of Africa as being a negative one. And I have been very impressed with how the group has managed to take those incidents and make them learning opportunities so that they can build on them as we've moved through Africa.
So we'll take it back from the last question. Sandra, you mentioned earlier on about some of the highlights and challenges of your trip up until this point. Can you elaborate a bit?
Well, when we came into the airport in Accra, we discovered that some of our luggage was missing, and that, coupled with the fatigue, the disorientation, was potentially quite disappointing for the group. So I was very impressed with how the group actually took the opportunity to learn about how they react in circumstances such as that. We've had other unusual situations where the group has had to really remember some of the development sessions that we've had. And I've been very, very impressed with how much they've risen to the challenge of being a diasporan African meeting the continental African and encountering these challenges and still remaining focused on what it is we are here to do.
Personally, this touched you most about this trip. On a personal level, I know you're looking at the group and objective. About you, your
Personally, this is one of the most important things that I have done for a long time. I consider that many of us come into this world, most of us come into this world with a purpose, with a passion, but we don't actually live it. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to take my work and couple it with what I consider to be my life purpose, which is to develop and empower people. So bringing diasporan Africans and the European in our group, a teacher in our group, to the continent to be able to really experience Africa and identify and discover that Africa is more than a continent has really touched me, because these experiences will serve all the members of our group far beyond this actual trip. It is something to really see people who have longed to come to the continent to come. It is something to see the professionals in the group realize some of the vision that they've had for how they want to live their life, what they'd like to do to make a change, to help somebody, to rediscover themselves, their passion, to identify the truth about Africa, to actually witness people as they go through that is really an incredible privilege and very humbling. And we've also been to a number of historical sites like Cape Coast Castle and the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. We've taken part in the memorial ceremony recognizing the diasporan African and a ritual which is emancipation. And they, when I say they, I mean the other diasporan Africans from the Caribbean, from the Americas, and the continental African welcomed those of us who came from London in our group and said that they had been touched by the fact that we came, made space for us in the program. So we were actually able to bring the circle to a close, if you like, because the African in Europe has been missing for a long time, and now we're here. So that's touched me personally. That's a huge, I think this is one of the most significant things that will ever happen in my life, to be able to take part in such a historical endeavor, if you like, that has happened in the history of the African people. So yeah, personally, I feel like I've done something with my life.
You certainly have, Sandra. And thank you very much, and I'll be speaking to you shortly at a later point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the work that you put into this.
Thank you, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, good, thanks.